The AR-15 was designed to be a very lightweight rifle to replace the M14, which was a .308, pretty heavy during the Vietnam era. With that, the AR-15 has become a really popular, in fact, the most popular selling rifle in the United States. And because of that, there's a lot of companies coming out with all kind of cool accessories and everything. With the advent of the Picatinny rail, with M-LOK, with K-Mod, with all the different things that you can do. You can put lights, lasers, scopes, magnifiers, and extra sights. You can just put all kind of stuff on here to the point that it gets as heavy as the original M14. So keeping a really light, handy rifle is really nice. And unless you're going to be doing bench risk shooting, really keeping that rifle light and handy is important. And so Mission First Tactical came out with their Battlelink Minimalist Stock. I've seen these a number of times. I really wasn't that interested, but my buddy Robbie Wheaton started picking them up. He builds guns for 3-gun competitors. He's a 3-gun competitor himself, and he loves this stock system, so I decided to take a second look at it. So Josh over at treadongear.com was carrying some of the Battlelink stocks. And so I got in touch with him, and so he sent me 2 stocks for the review. The top looked great, but this little hook right here really gave me a lot of concern. You know, things getting hooked, maybe this even breaking off. That is really something that you don't want to have, especially with a rifle, and especially with the potential of really having to get into harsh conditions with these rifles in a self-defense situation in an SHTF. So you really want the best system you can have. But one of the things about Mission First Tactical, and they wanted to produce a very lightweight stock, but that could still handle whatever you could dish out. The material that's used in the stock is actually a DuPont polyamide reinforced material. So it's really strong, but yet it has a really good slick feel to it. One of the things about it, of course, is this area right here breaking off. And these are really tough. As far as strength of the stock, you need to butt stroke somebody, catch an end of that. Stock's holding up well, no stress points. I think you'd be good with this stock system. It's really strong. You can tell that it's strong. All right, here's a couple of stocks next to the Battlelink stock that are probably the most common stocks you'll find for your AR. You have your standard collapsible stock, the military type. This is a Wyndham weaponry, but it's the basic configuration. Then we have the Mo from Magpul, very popular stock system. And with the Mo stock, you do have this guard here to protect your lever. And that was pretty revolutionary when this first came out. With the original, you have your exposed lever, but you also have this little sling attachment down here at the bottom, which definitely could be hooked as well. Now, of course, with the Battlelink, you do have your hook. Now, looking as far as the cheek weld, the thinnest is the standard collapsible stock. Your Magpul Mo comes out just a touch, but the Battlelink definitely has more width, and this is going to give you more cheek weld. The Magpul Mo and the Battlelink both have rubber butt pads. You can see that with the Battlelink, you definitely get more of an angle. With the standard, there are caps that you can put on here, but pretty much it's just a plain serrated area. Of course, with 5.56, that's not really a problem with recoil, but it does make it comfortable, and it is a non-slip surface. But the big thing about the Minimalist stock is the weight, and it is purported to be the lightest weight stock on the market, which I really think so. The standard Mo stock weighs about 8 ounces. Your regular collapsible A2 type stock is 7.1 ounces, and then with the Minimalist stock, it's 5.8 ounces. So you get at least a little over 2 ounce difference than your Mo. The way you function the stock is there's a small lever right here. It is somewhat protected to keep it from inadvertently getting hit. Just bring it down, adjust it. One of the things that is a concern is maybe you can't find the lever. It is kind of blended in with this area. But one of the things that I always realize is whenever I adjust my stock, that's usually where I leave it. I'm not moving it around. So, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, it could be a concern for some that like to adjust their stocks quickly. But really, it's a nice positive little click. The pad is textured on the bottom. One of the things too you'll notice is the curvature right here of the stock, which is important, especially if you're wearing body armor or when you're naturally putting this to your shoulder. It fits right into the pocket really well. And it's a nice rubber butt pad right here, and it fits really well. It doesn't though catch. It's not very tacky. I've had some stocks that you get a hold of your shoulder, and then when you're adjusting it, it kind of sticks to the shoulder. But here, it's a very smooth transition with the stock, and it has a pretty tight fit. Very similar to the CTR. The CTR has a lockdown system, but on this, it has a pretty good system. One of the things about your standard A2 stocks or your little collapsible stocks is they're very wobbly, and they make a lot of racket, even when this one moves. Now these are offered in both mil-spec and commercial models. Of course, your commercial model is going to be a little larger. The commercial extension receiver tube has an angle to the back. That's one of the easiest ways to tell. It's also, you can measure the diameter. And you can look on the Mission First Tactical website to see the differences. The way to tell is it's marked right here, and this is Battlelink Minimalist Stock. This is the commercial model. If it's the mil-spec, it'll have MIL after the BMS. Now, one of the things a lot of guys are experiencing is that this is so tight on the buffer tube or the extension receiver tube that it makes it very difficult to put on and off. I tell you what, I actually experienced that myself. Here's a commercial buffer tube. It fits in fine. Now, one of the things about this little lever here is it's similar to the Magpul lever you pull down, but it's rounded off and it's kind of thin. It's hard to get a hold of. So I took a pair of pliers, grab hold of it, and pull it down. And then it slides in. Now it is a really tight fit. It does move. And I think the more you move it in there, it's going to work itself out. But just to give you a fair warning, it's going to be kind of tough. So because of that, I've just put these on military spec buffer tubes and they work. One good thing is this is tight and it's going to give you a really solid platform. Using a little bit of this Aeroshell lithium grease, this is really excellent stuff. I've used this in a number of places. I'll have a link down below where you can get this in these little small vials. I got them on eBay. Of course, attached to a rifle, this is going to be easier to do, but I can already tell that this is becoming more and more fitted to this buffer tube. And again, once it gets locked in, it is going to be solid. The Battlelink stock has a number of attachment points for slings. Here and here, you have other attachment points that you can use for different things. Right here at the bottom, you have a QD sling swivel attachment. Locks into place. It does swivel around, but it gives you ability to switch from right to left hand. But the stock like this hanging down is a concern for a lot of people, obviously. And so those that are concerned, there is a really cool system that you can put a Cobra weave right here. And a lot of guys have done that. It only adds an ounce to the stock system. So you're still about 1.25 ounces less than your Mo, even with the paracord. What's really cool about the paracord is if you need it, you can cut this loose and you'll have about 6 feet of paracord at your disposal. So this is just an extra bonus really to me, and yet it really looks good. And it completes the rifle, it protects your link here, and it protects this little hook from getting snagged. This is officially the NRAT Survival cord option, and the guys at Nemo Arms actually developed this and sent it to the guys at Battlelink, and they loved it. And so this is actually an option on the Mission First Tactical website. You can get the paracord already attached to your rifle, or you can get just the paracord itself to adapt it to your existing rifle. I'll tell you this, guys, this was super easy to do. And I will do a video following this one on how to do it with the black one. The Cobra weave looks good, but yet it's really tight. I mean, that is really holding up well. Now, once you put the paracord on this stock, you're going to lose your QD system. It's right here. I did see where one guy was able to utilize his. I can't imagine how. But this pretty much locks out your QD. I typically don't put QD on my stock anyway. It's nice to have the option, but I typically put it on the rifle. With my single point sling, I have a BCM, one of the QD attachments that fits here. So that's what I'm going to probably use. But just to let you know, if you're going to add this and if you're going to give it any rigidity whatsoever, you're not going to be able to use that. The MSRP on the Battlelink stock is $59.99. On the treadongear.com website, you can get these for $49.99. Really lightweight, really strong stock system. I love the curvature, rubber butt pad. Of course, this paracord weave right here. Again, this can be used as a secondary purpose, and obviously it keeps the weight down as well. But expect it to be a little tight on your buffer tube. If you don't really mind and you just want the lightweight, I'd get the commercial stock for your mil-spec buffer tube. It'll fit nicely. So check out treadongear.com. I'll have the link down below in the description. Great resource for a lot of cool AR-15 gear and other things. And Josh, I want to thank you for sending these, and they've held up to the test. The Mission First Tactical Battlelink Minimalist Stock System, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. So Josh over at Tread On Me Gear was carrying. So check out Tread On Me Gear. Kind of builds or doing anything, and this really is going to help. Whoosh.